Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page right here at Facebook and to the daily live stream around the divination cards that are drawn in the morning. It's a spiritual conversation here, and so I welcome you, and it is Sunday, December 30th in the afternoon. It's a gorgeous day here in Toma, Wisconsin. We have sunshine. It's cold. It is December. It's cold, but we have sunshine today because we've had, I don't know, several days of cloudy weather. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle is here. Hello, Rochelle. It's always good to see you in the chat. How you feeling? How you doing? Yeah, notice my background. A little bit different. I took the screens down this morning. I was vacuum cleaning and kind of doing some cleanup, and thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave the screens down and let you see what the background really looks like. Let's see. If I lean this way, you can kind of see the cabinets in the back and the French doors behind me, going out to the deck. Yeah, those cabinets are actually, they house a couple of different things. All of the craft kind of supplies that we use for different classes. Yeah, and stuff for the classroom itself. And the other one, the one with the drawers, that houses all the drum making supplies. You can kind of see at the top, sitting on the top is a hoop for a drum, a large drum. I believe that's a 26-inch hoop. I have been planning on making a large drum so that 4 people, or at least 2, comfortably 2, could drum together on it. And yeah, single head drum, but still be able to drum together. We'll have handles on it and that sort of thing. So one of these days, I'm going to make the time to do that. I also have a couple drums I have to repair. One of them is my own. One of them I made, I think 2 years ago. And another one that comes from a lady whose drum kind of ripped, the lacing ripped. Actually, both of them have ripped lacing. And so, yeah, so we get to repair a couple of drums. Yeah. Rochelle's saying it's sunny here and the Lions are beating the Packers. I know. Paul was not happy when I was walking out of the house because that was on down at the house too. I say, that's all right. We'll win tomorrow or the next week or whenever they play. Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the live stream, to the show. We're going to be starting the card draw information in just a second. And Rochelle says, slept till noon, must have needed it, went to sleep at 10 p.m., shoulder hurts more today. Yeah, it's going to be that way for a while, right? Eventually, though, as long as you keep up the therapy stuff. A good friend of ours also had surgery, and Paul was telling him about the same thing, is that you want to make sure that you get the range of motion back, right? Yeah, lots of ice, lots of ibuprofen, that kind of stuff. All right, before we get rolling with the card draw or other chit chat that we're going to be doing, if I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to like and share the broadcast. And I would invite you to do the same if you're so inclined. It is a way to be able to help others find us more easily. Social media, man, there's a lot of information that comes across every minute, right? And on Facebook especially, it's so easy to have a post get buried like within minutes because there's just so much information being posted. So every time we like and share and make comments on any post or any video, it helps that post to be in the news feed more often. And so that's what we're doing right now. So I usually, what I do is I send it over to my personal news feed, just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming, and asking them to join us in the live chat. Oops. Got to spell right. There we go. And I think Stephanie is in the chat. And so I'm going to leave it up to you, Steph, to do the sharing to the other Star Nations groups and pages. So it's always nice to have Stephanie here in the house. She's the one who is posting from Star Nations Magazine Radio Network. Okay, she is our social media manager here at Star Nations, and she's doing such a good job. She's always on it, on top of it. Okay, so let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. She's sending Mervyn Kelly, who is one of our live stream show hosts here at Star Nations Radio Network, a message. She says, watching the replay of From Star to Stone, that's the name of his show. Myths and Legends, got to say, I would love listening to you chat about mythology. I have to agree, Stephanie. I have to agree. Because I attend, I would say 99.9% of all the live stream shows. I'm usually in the chat. Sometimes I'm producing. And that particular show, what I like about Mervyn is that the stories that he tells, right? And because he's from the UK, he's from England, and he is a modern day, I was going to say bard, but I guess he is. He is a bard. He doesn't sing, but he certainly is a storyteller, that's for sure. But he's a modern day druid. Druidry is his. Hey, there you are. This is Mervyn. We're just talking about you. So if you can catch his show is on the second Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. Eastern. And he is our resident expert of stones and crystals. And those are probably some of the best shows too, is when he shows his own collection of stones and crystals. All right, so with the card draw for today, for those who are brand new to the daily live stream, this is the deck that we're currently using. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Deck by Kyle Gray, and the artwork is done by Lily Moses. Yeah, this is a brand new deck, literally. It was published in 2018 and released in September. And so we started using the deck at the end of September for the daily live stream. I have to say that I really do like this deck. It's been spot on for the energy flow. And I have been doing the card draw for myself for years, asking about the energy for the day, what was most important for me to know about. And and then I think it's been over a year. It's been over a year that I was putting a quote from the card draw that I'd done for myself on our Instagram account for Star Nations. And then this past May, I decided that maybe the Star Nations community here at Facebook would enjoy having the information about the card or cards and have a conversation about it, right? And so we started doing the daily live stream in May. And I've missed a few days, I have to admit. Some of them were holidays, and some of them, I think one of them I wasn't feeling well. And but out of all those days, I think I might have missed maybe two weeks, maybe, if you put it all together, something like that. So anyway, it's a conversation about the cards and the information about the energy that's flowing and what spirit. I call to my spiritual team every morning to help me and show me what the energy is through the deck of cards, right? And that's the intention for our highest good, to show me what's the most important information or energy that we should know about for the day, and that we can share with others. And so it's not necessarily an individual card read for someone. It is more of a general card read for everybody. So when we're sharing about it, anything that resonates with you, feels good to you, or makes you kind of sit up and go, huh, really? I didn't think of it that way. Okay, that piece is for you. That piece is for you. And so we get to share that information. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to show you the first card. I had to smile when this one came up. We haven't had this card in quite a while. This is the Peacekeeper. The Peacekeeper. And it says, let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need to be right. Right? Yeah. And so the white buffalo in the background. And the young woman is holding a pipe in her hands. Clearly Native American, and more specifically, Lakota, or also known as Oceti-Sakowee. That's their language that they call themselves, and it's the entire nation. Most people would probably recognize it as the Great Sioux Nation, whereas the word or the name Sioux is not from their language. It's probably more French than anything. And so that is a name or a word that wasn't typically used by themselves to call them. Oceti-Sakowee, or by their individual band name, as in Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, and there's so many others. I think there's seven bands to the Oceti-Sakowee. And, which I am not, by the way, not. That's not who I'm affiliated with as a tribal member. I'm enrolled with the Potawatomi Nation, and we come from the East Coast. We migrated from the East Coast west to the Great Lakes region. We do kind of share a bit with, in the old days, we're talking about 500 to 700 years ago, that the Oceti-Sakowee actually was across the Mississippi and was in the northern part of Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin. And so, the territories kind of, we were neighbors. But see, we came out quite a long time ago to the Midwest. And so we speak a completely different language. The linguists call it, the Potawatomi language is Algonquin, and the Oceti-Sakowee, or the Sioux language is Siouan language base. And so it's completely different. Completely different. We don't even share any of the words. Whereas my grandmother was full-blooded Ho-Chunk, and the Ho-Chunk Nation is a part of the Oceti-Sakowee people, and so their language base is very similar. So there's some words that kind of carry over between the Lakota and Dakota with Ho-Chunk. A few. I wouldn't even say that I would know, because I don't speak it fluently. I don't. And so, yeah. So anyway, this particular card is called Peacekeeper, and releasing the desire to be right. And usually when we are when we have an event with someone else, another two-legged, or two-leggeds, plural, other humans, generally speaking, the confrontation is usually about who is more right than the other person. And so our egos get involved, right? Our egos get involved. And so this particular card, I'm going to show it close to the camera so you can kind of see. The tip of the pipe, the bowl, you can see the smoke rising, right? Yeah. And this is really, the image is about the white buffalo calf woman. And she was a spirit who came to the Oceti-Sakowee to bring the 7 gifts or the 7 rights of the Osheti Sakoi. It's a spiritual path. And if you take a look at her necklace and her earrings, it's a matched set. Kind of looks like a button in a way. That is usually bone. And the beadwork on the pipe here, and she doesn't look like she has anything on her dress. The more geometric shapes in the beadwork are usually comes from indigenous people west of the Mississippi. For those of us east of the Mississippi, we're more woodland. And so our beadwork has more florals and flowers and vines and that sort of thing, rather than the geometric shape. And so the pipe here is a sacred tool. It's more of an ally. When using the pipe, it's very Hollywood to call it a peace pipe, because it's about peace, but it's not a peace pipe. Because it's much more than that. Pipe carriers, it's a medicine that when you embrace it, when you pick it up, you never can lay down the pipe. You can't ever walk away from it. There is a spirit that resides in the pipe, and so it becomes your ally. And so you're bonded. And so in the pipes that are found west of the Mississippi, they call it tobacco, but it's not tobacco. It's actually willow, and it's called conchacha. But they have the same respect for the conchacha as the indigenous people east of the Mississippi has for tobacco. Okay. Yeah. And the reason why Kyle Gray, the author, channeled the White Buffalo Calf Woman for this particular card as for the Peacekeeper is because the path that she gifted the information about to the Osheti Sakoi, the 7 gifts, is a lifestyle. It's a way of living that is peaceful, that you tend to have you want to hear other people's perspectives, right? And so you respectfully listen to them, even though you may disagree with them. You listen to them, and if there is a confrontation about it, you can always tell, because not all natives would be carrying a pipe. Not all natives would follow the lifestyle, the belief system. Okay, that's probably a stereotype that we're myth busting right now. That the lifestyle that the White Buffalo Calf Woman brought was about peace. It was. It's a peaceful way of living, and not all of the people, non-native people, really knew that there was even something called the Red Road or the Peaceful Road, right? To know about the 7 gifts. It wasn't until I want to say it was like the mid 70s, late 70s, early 80s that non-native people were being included and were given some information. And the 19th generation bundle carrier, Chief Arvel Looking Horse, he was the one who gave permission to other Lakota, other Dakota, other Osheti Sakoi to share the information. And so all of the rights build on each other, right? And you ultimately end up with the Sundance. And so not every Osheti Sakoi, not every Native American will actually participate in Sundance, right? Because it's really a challenge. You really are facing yourself and facing your fears. And the Sundance is really about praying for your people, praying for the people. And so it's not even about you, really. It's about prayers for others. Yeah. I'm telling you a whole lot. That isn't necessarily what Kyle wrote, but we'll get to that. Okay. Rochelle saying, shared the eye of the white buffalo is different, kind of weird to me. Really? Okay, I'm going to show it so everybody can see it. All right, so Rochelle is talking about the eye of the buffalo is different. Why does it seem weird to you? Yeah. I don't know. Being up close to buffalo is they're huge, huge, and they do sound like thunder when they run as a herd. Nellie is saying, a Reverend is saying, I'm going off topic a little, but New Year's Day is soon to be here. Remember, do not do any laundry on New Year's Day. To do so will wash away all the luck for the year. Oh, that must be okay. Is that a Celtic belief? Yeah, I think so. Although Celtic New Year was back at the end of October. That's true. It's true. So where does the washing laundry thing come from? Or the not washing laundry, I should say. Yeah. Okay. And Rochelle's saying the pupil. Okay. Are you talking about the buffalo or are you talking about the woman? Because you can't see the pupil on the buffalo. Notice they're looking in the same direction. And in many ways, you might say that they're walking the same path. They're walking in the same direction. Yeah. Interesting, huh? Well, let's see what Kyle has to say about the Peacekeeper. Because it says, let go of the need to be right. And the message is, choose peace and happiness over the need to be right. Rather than trying to prove a point, save your energy for what's important. So, it does take a lot of energy when you're trying to change someone else's mind about something, right? Because usually you both want to be right, usually. And so it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy to prove to them that you're right. And what I think Kyle is referring to here is that energy that you're using to prove that you're right could be allocated in a different way. Maybe allocated to your own healing, allocated to your own gifts, using your gifts, right? Yeah. And, sometimes what we do, what other people see us do, our behavior carries much more information and weight than sometimes our words. Because our words can be rhetoric, right? They can be only coming from our mind, and they don't have the substance of our heart sometimes. But our behavior, how we react to things, can tell so much more. And, you know, growing up in the Native American traditions, culture, that's one thing that we're taught little on is to watch, to pay attention, and watching someone's body language, watching what they do and what they say. Do the two things match up, right? It's part of helping you to discern if somebody is telling you the truth. And so, you learn quite quickly when somebody is saying one thing but they do another. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, because we all kind of have experience with that, right? And so it's one of the things that we do. And actually what we're also watching is their energy, right? Sensing it. We're sensing their energy, and if it all aligns or not. So if you're trying to convince somebody that you're right, sometimes it's a misuse. That's a good word. A misuse of your energy. Okay, and Millie is saying it's probably a Victorian superstition about the laundry, so fairly recent, but I'll take any excuse not to do laundry for a day. I agree with you there. Can we include the dishes there too? You know, in modern day, right? Modern day. Rochelle is saying, yes, I see the I think she meant pupil. But you know what I noticed on here, as I was looking at the card for the buffalo's eye, is that the smoke from the pipe is literally going into the buffalo. Can you see that? The smoke from the pipe is going up to the buffalo. We didn't even talk about the pipe itself. So when you use a pipe, a chanupa, I'm trying to find the words how to describe this, is that you pray with the pipe. Okay, you're not just smoking the pipe to have a leisurely smoke, like some people would do with a different kind of pipe or with cigarettes. Okay, when you have your pipe out, you're generally praying for somebody or something, and your prayers are sent up in the smoke to the Creator. The pipe itself, the stem of the pipe is the male energy, and the bowl of the pipe is the female energy. So when you have them put together, you're in balance. You're balanced. Okay. And the bowl represents the entire universe. So when you're using a chanupa, you're connecting to all of creation, and so your prayers are very. That's why your intention, your prayer should be really clear. You need a clear intention, right? When you're using the pipe, and it can be used as a community prayer, a community blessing. So you could use a pipe on your own, or you could use it as in a group, as a community. And not everybody is a pipe carrier. That's the other thing. There are many people who are not, and there are some who are, right? Yeah. Come on, Nellie. No, you still have to do the dishes. Why? Why can't we change that? We can add that in there, can't we? I have a dishwasher. Makes life easier. But, it's one of those things. You always have to do laundry and you always have to do dishes. Growing up, we didn't have a dishwasher, an electric one, a machine. My mom used to say, "Why would we need that? I have you. You're my dishwasher." So I've been doing dishes since I was little, and so anytime I can try to not do them, that would be a vacation. All right. So what else does Kyle have to say? He says that the peacekeeper is a wise Native American woman who has been influenced by white buffalo woman. She holds a peace pipe, which is emblematic of surrendering the need to fight and offering harmony instead. So this is the part where Kyle Gray is from Scotland, and Lily Moses, the artist, is from New Zealand. So they're from the UK, right? And so sometimes in the writing, in the way they express, I should say, the expression is from a Native American point of view. I can tell, right? Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong or anything like that. No, it's just how they express it. And so the expression of the white buffalo woman, it's white buffalo calf woman. That makes a big difference because the way that spirit came in to the people, to the Asheti Sakoe, it came in as a calf, a baby. Okay, and as the story goes, is that in every time she revealed herself to the people, it was more of an adult. She started out as a baby and moved into the adult. Came in as a white buffalo and changed color of the fur with each of her gifts. So, so there's a little bit of a difference, right? A little bit, and calling it a peace pipe. That's to me that's very. I don't want to, kind of Hollywoodish, kind of a stereotype. Somebody who would know about the sacred pipe would never call it a peace pipe. So he goes on to say, she is a soul who knows what it's like to feel under threat and to stand up for what she believes in and what is right. Her medicine helps you to take the higher road in every situation, even if you're under pressure to make quick decisions. It's a reminder that within your hands lies the power to make the right choice for all involved. For all involved, yeah. Hey, Julie's here. Hello, Julie Shumway Hill. Good to have you here. And so with this card and with the woman holding the chanupa, she's a soul who knows what it's like to be under threat and to stand up for what she believes in and what is right. Okay. And many times you're using your voice, and other times it's by action. So by action, we can choose. We can choose the higher road, right? We don't have to prove that we're right. We can still stand in our own belief, and we can listen to the other person. And in that listening, what we're doing is we're opening our mind to maybe another perspective. Maybe there's a piece that we might agree on, right? Just a piece that we might agree on. And when we try to talk over or persuade, some people would call it manipulation. When we're trying to prove ourselves right, we're actually dropping our frequency and our vibration lower, right? And when we've spent maybe a good portion of our day in a higher vibration or bringing our vibration up, we have a choice. We have a choice on whether or not we're going to stay in that higher vibration or if we're going to drop into the lower vibration. That's a choice. Yeah. He goes on to say that you may be feeling on edge due to a stressful situation. There's a warrior within you that wants to rise up, prove your point, and get the truth across. But you're being reminded by ancestor wisdom that truth will always be revealed in the end. And yeah, that's one of the things that I've known to be true in my life is that the truth always comes to the surface. It may take a while, but it always comes to the surface. And so if you're patient and you can wait, spirit will bring that truth up to the surface. You don't have to do anything at all, but allow it to rise, right? And being human, a two-legged, especially when you're in your egoic mind, that you want to say, see, I told you so. You have kind of a little bit of an attitude with it, right? And even then, to try to refrain from that and know that the other person or people will see or sense that. You don't have to tell them that, because then we're only satisfying our ego, right? Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard to do. It is, but in the end, when that event is completely, you're done with the life lesson or the wisdom gained from it, and you when you sit back to reflect on it, you think, oh, I'm so glad I waited. I'm so glad I didn't place my energy on that I allowed spirit to flow through it and bring it full circle, right? Yeah, I know. That's the optimum. That's the desired, right? And then enters the humanness. Then enters, if you're not grounded, if you're more in your mental mind, it can make it very difficult. And I only speak from experience. So he goes on to say that it's more important at this time to avoid arguments or heated discussions where you'll be fighting a losing battle. There is much more power in choosing to move forward from a higher perspective. This will allow you to connect deeply to the guidance within and the intuition that will lead you towards the healing of the whole situation. Along with any wounds it may have inflicted upon you, choose peace. It's calling you. Choose peace. And when I read this morning, I was thinking back about, for an example of choosing a higher road, the path of peace, right? And there was two instances that came to my mind, memories. One of them was when I first started teaching feng shui. There's the sense of competition, right? Because there's other feng shui practitioners all over the state. And when I first started, there weren't that many. And there was one particular lady here that we decided to have a class together, and my gosh, the information was good, but we were both pretty much in our ego, and it didn't end well. And I remember one night because she had written me this long letter, and telling me about all the things that I had done wrong, and so in my ego, I have to prove that I'm right. And I remember talking to my spiritual team, and I was saying, okay, I need to understand this situation with more clarity. So please help me to do that. And what is my next best step to be able to make the situation better, right? And I was getting ready to go to bed, and I clearly heard, because I'm clairaudient, apologize. Wait a minute, you want me to apologize? And it was, apologize. And I said, well, what would I be apologizing for? And they went on to show me the instances in the class, because it was like four days, I think it was. No, wait, it was almost a week. And in the show, they were showing me like little clips of it. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. But it has to be heartfelt. And I said, I need time then, because if I say it right now, it's not going to be heartfelt. It'll all be coming from just my mind and just saying the words, right? And so it took me a while. It took me a while to get to the point where I could actually write to her and apologize and asked her, if she wanted to talk about it, I'd be more than happy to have a telephone conversation around it. No, she never called me, but it took me a long time to get to the point where I could actually apologize it and have it heartfelt. I did get there, but it took some time. And then there was another situation with family, because sometimes family can be even harder, right? And yeah, and I wanted to prove one of my brothers wrong and I was right. And yeah, that took a lot to let go. I literally had to, every morning, I was doing the blessings. I don't know if you guys have done this, sending love in front of you, to the left, behind, to the right, and below and above, right? And sending out love in that way. And then bringing to you an image of someone that you may have a conflict with, that your relationship isn't a loving relationship, is to bring them to you and see them in the light of love, pink. Yeah. I did that for a long time. And I have to say the situation did alleviate, and that we get along fine. I mean, it's not like we're super close, but it's a lot better than what it ever was. And so it does take some time and some healing around it. So when you're choosing the path of peace, you have everything on the continuum. It can be very, very easy and choose that and see it from a higher perspective almost immediately, to it has to unfold and take some time and healing and inner work to be able to get to that, right? Yeah. Yep. Hey, Cynthia Duholy's here. Good afternoon, Cynthia. Thanks for joining us. And she's thanking Tina. Is Tina here? If you don't say something in the comments, I don't see you in the chat room in the Be Live studio. I have to look at my phone to see if who's all there, because if you didn't make a comment, I would. Oops, got turned down my sound. I can't see. Your name doesn't come up. So there we go. I'm just checking to see. Yeah, and Cynthia's saying not easy to do. Sometimes it's not. And that's just the truth of it, isn't it? That's just the truth of it. There she is. Hi, Tina. I'm so glad you're here. Tina introduced me to your page. Oh, well, thank you, Tina. Thank you for doing that. And for those who just joined, this is the first card. It's a peacemaker. It's about letting go of the need to be right. And it is about a white buffalo calf woman and the Chinoopa choosing a peaceful life, and that we do have that choice. Sometimes we feel like we don't have a choice, right? And I don't know about you, but when I have found myself thinking that or feeling that, chances are I was more in my mental mind than I was in my heart. That I was seeing the situation more narrow and from a lower perspective, okay? And when you take the time to place your energy there to elevate the frequency in your vibration and to ask your spiritual team for assistance to see the situation from another or broader perspective so you can understand it with more clarity about what's really going on here, right? And it does take time for it to unfold. But we do have that choice. Even though in the beginning of the situation, you may feel like you don't. Okay, and sometimes when we're in that position, when we feel like we don't have a choice, it's so easy to roll that into the victim energy, right? Yeah. And spend some time with that energy. And we all know that that is not a positive energy to be in, is to be in that victim energy. And so sometimes we need help. We need help to bring ourselves out of that and to see it from a broader perspective. Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know. When this card literally jumped out of the deck this morning, I felt good about it. I felt, Buffalo Calf Woman. And then I listened to the song, the Sweat Lodge song for her. And it calls her in. And I have to share that when we first created Star Nations, White Buffalo Calf Woman was and is still the spirit, the energy, the guiding force for Star Nations. And she's depicted in a lot of different ways. I have a couple of art pieces here at the school that relate to her. I have an art piece down at the house that relates to her. And so her energy weaves through Star Nations. And so when we call to her, it's, made me smile, made me feel good this morning when that card came up. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. She's posting information about the upcoming shows this week. All right. So we have one more card. You guys are going to smile at this one. Look who came back to visit. The Direction Guardian. The Direction Guardian. Yeah, this card came yesterday too. And so we know that this is about choosing the path, right? The Direction Guardian. When we are finding ourselves having to make decisions about what path to take, decisions that change our lives. Maybe you're trying to decide if you're going to move your residence from one place to another or one state to another, taking a new job or looking for a new job, those kind of life changes, everything down to ones that maybe not change your entire life, but still they're important decisions to make. Childcare, healthcare, what car to buy. Do I even buy a car? Those kinds of decisions. And so sometimes we don't feel confident in making that choice. And so we're kind of stuck. These are the ones that I get stuck on. And it's going to sound a little silly, but it's true. Technology. Which computer to buy, what camera to buy, what lighting system to buy. There's just so many choices that I get stuck in the research and comparing the costs and blah, blah, blah. What happens? My husband, Paul, comes into the situation. And he says, you needed a computer, let's go buy the computer. And that's how I ended up with Apple products. Because and so he's the one who kind of says, all right, let's move forward. Let's get this rolling again, because you're stuck. So those are the kind of decisions that kind of hold me up. Because sometimes we're afraid to make the choice because it might be the wrong one. And so we have a fear around that, right? And so I worked on that. What's my fear around that? My fear is that the amount of money that I was going to spend on a certain system, that what if it didn't work for me? What if it was the wrong one? And look at all the money I spent. So it really went back to money. And so I had to look at that piece. Yeah. So the Direction Guardian can help us to do that. Make those choices. Yeah. I'm looking in the chat and making sure. Oh, here we go. Cynthia's saying, love your cards. I know. Thank you. I do too. Here's what they look like, Cynthia. I'm going to take down the message here so you can see it. This is the deck. Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. And the artist is Lily Moses. Brand new deck. Brand new. Just published in 2018 and released in September. So, they've been on the market for a few months now, but I like this deck. I do a lot. Hey, Annie's here too. This reading is right on right now. I know. Thank you, Annie, for saying that, sharing that. And Reverend says, I'm picking up my new car tomorrow. You are? Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah. And once you actually get in the car and you got the keys and you've signed all the papers, that's another step in the healing process, isn't it? Mervyn was in a car accident not too long ago and it totaled his car. And thank goodness he wasn't injured. But that's kind of, it's a shock. And it kind of shakes you up, right? So healing from all of that, and he's doing such a good job at that too. So good for you, Mervyn. Good for you getting your new car. All right. So the Direction Guardian says, choose your path. Choose your path. And when you put these two cards together, choose your path. You have a choice. Choosing the path of peace. Releasing the mental need to be right. Choosing your path. And I think what it boils down to is really acknowledging that we have a choice. And if you choose the path of peace, that also means that you're choosing, your soul is choosing, right? Now that doesn't mean that we don't include our mental mind, because we have it, and it's about the balance between the head and the heart. From your mental mind and your soul, and your soul growth, right? Yeah. So choosing the path of peace. And sometimes if we say that it can be easy, there's always the possibility that it could be easy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a challenge or a huge difficulty. Because we're never alone, right? We've got our spiritual team, our guides, our angels, our ancestors. We have a whole bunch in spirit, ready and willing to assist. And if you're standing in that in the path, and you have this choice, you're at the fork in the road. Do you go left or you go right? It's a choice. And the other thing that goes along with the Guardian, the Direction Guardian, is that either one is okay. Either choice, either path that you choose is going to be okay, because you're going to have opportunities and you're going to have life lessons to learn, wisdom to gain on either path. And so it's not necessarily a mistake to choose one or the other. The choice should be about what makes your heart sing, your soul sing, what makes you happy and joyful. Because when we are that way, that means that we are on our soul path and using our gifts. So either way, we're using our gifts, or should be. Should. Air quote. Should. Oh, let's see. Nora Isbin's with us. Hello, Nora. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us in the spiritual conversation. We're at the top of the hour. And so these are the cards that came today, and it's about choosing the path of peace. Choosing the path of peace. The allocation of your energy. Where do you want to place your energy? Do you want to place it in proving that you're right and knowing that it's going to take some time and a lot of effort to prove that? Or to choose a path of peace and to let that part go, right? To let that go. Yeah. So, if anything that was shared today resonated with you, felt good to you, my suggestion is that you embrace it, and just notice how the energy unfolds for you today, or has already unfolded for you, and where the information is helpful, where spirit is giving us a nudge, giving us some information to use, an opportunity, right? Yeah. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It just wasn't for you this time around. And maybe you're the messenger. Maybe you know somebody who has been looking for the information or enjoys this kind of conversation, and you can just share the recorded show link with them, right? Yeah. So then you'd be all done. Yeah, Cynthia saying, needed to hear this today. Prayers and blessings. Same to you, Cynthia. And I'm so glad you joined us today. Thank you so much for doing that. And you know what? I forgot to ask the one question I seem to ask almost every day is, who has done their grounding today? Who's grounded? Who did their protection? Right? Right. I think you guys are really going to like the January issue of Star Nations magazine. I just finished the prepping all of the articles for the layout for the January issue. And oh my gosh, some of those articles, wow. Yeah, talking about heart's desire and polarity. And there was one article, Polly Jo LeBay's article, kind of sticks out in my mind because she said something in there about the grounding. Is that gravity and Grandmother Earth, that's one of her energies, right? Is that gravity is actually a loving gift to us, so that it holds us closer to Grandmother Earth. Holds us closer. It's like getting a hug from her. Yeah. And that the gravity is actually a female energy. It's a nurturing energy. And so it reminded me of how we have shared here about the importance of being grounded to Grandmother Earth. And it helps us to be calmer. It helps us to be stronger and stable. And so that when we have our decisions to make, that we're in a position of strength, spiritual strength, to make those decisions. So, yeah. So just a reminder, a gentle reminder to do your grounding. If you haven't done it today, is to please do so. And it helps everybody, including yourself, right? And of course, Mervyn says, yep, he did it. Julie saying, not yet, had babysitting duties today. All right, well, you can take a moment and whenever you have to be able to do that. And Stephanie saying, grounded and centered. Yay. Cynthia, forgot. Hard to balance big family life and self-care. I know what you mean. So, with that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. You know why? We're playing trivia tomorrow. It's New Year's Eve day at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern. we're playing Star Nations Trivia. Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's the first round, 3 p.m. Eastern. There'll be some prizes for the winners. And then the next round, round 2, is New Year's Eve evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll play an hour and a half for that one, an hour for the afternoon, hour and a half for the evening show, trivia game. Yeah, it's all about Star Nations, magazine, live stream shows, the past shows from Blog Talk Radio, for those who have been following us for a long time. For the Academy, everything Star Nations is where the questions are coming from. And then we have one more round. The third round is on New Year's Day at 3 p.m. Eastern. And that will be the final round. So we'll spend some time together for New Year's and New Year's Day. Yeah, so I'm hoping you guys can join us. It'll be fun. Even if you don't like playing trivia, come anyway and hang out with the community, right? Yeah. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.